as summer approaches, some good news about the safety of our local beaches after the fires. What a new study reveals about contamination levels in the ocean water and sand.
The road to a more fire-ready Malibu begins now. The fixable flaws being improved in the city's emergency response system.
A crossing with criticism. Why the world's largest wildlife crossing is now facing backlash.
And a mountain lion gets a close-up on a local trail cam. News at 5 starts now.
Live, all local. Brought to you by the campus of Pepperdine University in Malibu.
Tides are finally turning on post-fire water quality. Good evening, I'm Melissa Houston.
And I'm Jenna Parcio. Welcome to NewsWaves on this Tuesday, March 24th. Following major early concerns after the Palisades fire, a new study now reveals that our oceans and beaches are safe. NewsWaves 32 reporter Alyssa Williams joins us live with the details.
Thanks, Jenna. As you can see, there are many beachgoers here at Will Rogers State Beach today, and that brings hope to new beach safety. Research led by Clean Waters Project shows that the beaches are healing. With charred debris from oceanfront homes swept into the ocean and runoff from burn areas full of plastics, cars, and chemicals flowing into the water, there has been concern since the Palisades fire about the safety of the ocean water and sand at Malibu and nearby beaches. Testing of Malibu water shortly after the fire by Heal the Bay showed a spike in lead, mercury, and other heavy metals. But a new report by researchers at USC shows LA County beaches are healing after the Palisades fires.
The beaches are healthy for us to swim at in terms of metal concentrations.
Marine biogeochemist and Clean Waters Project lead researcher Noelle Held says even at its peak after storms, lead levels in the water did not approach EPA levels considered safe for marine life.
You could be a bit more concerned about organic chemicals causing you to not swim in the ocean, but from our preliminary results, we saw that things get dispersed in the ocean pretty quickly. And so we wouldn't be expecting huge concentrations of chemicals in the ocean that would stop you from going.
Held and her team tested sand and water contamination at Malibu beaches, including Big Doom, Las Flores, Will Rogers, Temescal, Rustic Creek, and Topanga between February and October of last year. They measured levels of lead and 6 other contaminants before and after the Palisades fire.
I would be inclined to say that the fires didn't have a huge impact on metal concentrations in the ocean.
Lead in sand tested in August never came close to levels considered dangerous by California or the researchers. This comes as a welcome news as summer is around the corner. Of course, Franks cautions that the need for continued testing does remain, and there will be a portfolio of the complete findings just from Clean Waters Project here in the next couple of months. But looking ahead, Franks says future rainstorms could continue to wash metals into the water. The Rustic Creek outfall at Will Rogers State Beach below the Palisades burn scar is a key area of concern. With the rain in the forecast of upcoming next week, that's something researchers will be watching closely. I'm Alyssa Williams reporting live from Will Rogers State Beach. Back to you at the studio.
Thank you, Alyssa. After the fires, the city of Malibu is working to close the gaps in its emergency response system. NewsWaves 32 reporter Sophia Markle is in the studio with the improvements to come from the city's after-action fire report.
At last night's City Council meeting, council members and city staff discussed the findings in the after-action fire report and plans moving forward. The review, conducted by the independent firm Witt O'Brien's, identified strengths and gaps in Malibu's emergency response during the Franklin and Palisades fires.
We still don't have a citywide alert system.
The report acknowledges where things fell short with room for improvement, including communication issues and unclear evacuation maps. Big Rock residents, an area most devastated by the Palisades fire.
People died, my neighbors died, and they didn't have to.
While there is a long road to fixing the city's emergency response as a whole.
Living in a high fire severity zone is pretty complicated.
The city has already implemented some new response strategies and is actively working on several others. Council members were generally content with the findings.
The comments are all fixable.
But others were more skeptical.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. Everybody's got a plan until you have a fire or disaster.
The city will be getting 2 mobile siren units, trailers from the city of LA in the coming months. Their next steps are to improve staff capabilities, develop emergency policies, and establish a recovery plan. I'm Sophia Markle, back to you at the desk.
Thank you for that reporting, Sophia. The Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, set to be completed in the fall, is facing backlash. Fox News and the New York Post began criticizing the crossing over budget concerns and delays after Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy coined it the bridge to nowhere in a social media post. Reports say the bridge is now $21 million over budget and a year behind schedule. Beth Pratt, the regional executive director for the National Wildlife Foundations, says these headlines are misleading.
Which again, when you look at this project, its size and scope, we have to get over the 101 freeway and an access road. It's a big, complex project. But that was announced and that estimate held until the world changed for everybody.
Pratt says the U.S. DOT reports that construction projects since 2021 have increased by up to 60%. She says they have been transparent about costs and delays and invite those curious about the progress of the construction and project to come out for a tour.
Gas prices continue to surge as the war in Iran continues. The average price of a gallon of regular gas in Los Angeles County is at its highest level since October of 2023. Right now in Malibu, at both the Shell and Chevron stations in the center of town, a gallon of unleaded gas is $6.59. Figures from AAA show that gas is 30 cents more expensive than a week ago and about $1.26 more than a month ago. The cheapest gas station to fuel up in Malibu appears to be the Speedway Express in Point Dume for $5.89. And we might be seeing these inflated prices for a while. Eden Shemanek reports on the national gas crisis from Washington, D.C.
Drivers across the U.S., but especially in California, are facing rising gas prices due to the Iran war. But experts here in D.C. say that bringing down those prices won't be quick or easy. As the war with Iran enters its 4th week, gas prices continue to climb. The Trump administration emphasizes that the pain at the pump is temporary.
We've got a rough road ahead of us for the next few weeks, but it's temporary.
But historian and global affairs professor Alan Pietrobon, who teaches at Trinity University, says this conflict may be less straightforward.
President Trump doesn't get to choose when this war ends, right? The Iranians get a vote in that.
A wave of attacks on energy production sites across Middle East countries, along with Iran's tight control of the Strait of Hormuz, means large implications for the global oil market, especially for California, which relies heavily on imported energy.
About 60%, just because of the geography of California, of its gas is imported. And so we are at the mercy of the global oil markets.
California has the highest gas prices in the nation, surging more than $1 since the start of the war. Former Department of Energy Deputy Secretary and White House advisor Jeffrey Kupfer says that policymakers now have a hard time bringing down elevated prices.
There's really no quick fixes to doing it. It's a supply and demand issue.
The conflict has also caused Gulf states to pause pumping oil because ships can't make their way through the Hormuz Strait. This raises concerns for future oil production capabilities.
There's a possibility that oil production in the Middle East will never return exactly to what it was before.
Pietrobon says none of this comes as a surprise.
U.S. military planners had been warning for years that a conflict with Iran will mean they will shut down the strait.
Policymakers now face a difficult balance between military goals and energy costs at home.
And one has to balance the military objectives with what the impacts are on the energy sector.
As of today, the U.S. has lifted sanctions on Iranian oil in an effort to lower gas prices. Experts say any effort to reopen the strait could mean major economic and military risks. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Eden Shemanek, NewsWaves 32.
Thank you for that reporting, Eden. Back here on the West Coast, a new law in Calabasas is aimed at cracking down on e-bikes and motorized scooters. These rules keep the bikes out of certain city facilities and target unsafe riding in public spaces, including parking lots. But these new city rules cannot regulate operation on public roadways or private property. The city of Calabasas says the purpose is to improve safety for all users.
Commuters through Topanga Canyon may face some overnight delays. State Route 27 from PCH to Grandview Drive is down to one lane for utility work after the fire from 8 p.m. until midnight. A pilot car will be leading drivers through the work areas, and Caltrans is urging drivers to use caution in the area and watch out for workers.
The final call is still in the works, but forward progress is finally being seen for roundabouts on PCH in Malibu. At a city council special meeting Wednesday, leaders voted 4-1 in favor of denying an appeal and forward progress with the temporary roundabouts. But construction won't start just yet. The council is requiring a public hearing before any groundwork can be made. In addition to a public hearing, the council wants to see more detailed data and planning for evacuation routes and for how all forms of transportation, including bikes, would navigate these roundabouts. Turning devastation into determination.
Let's go home.
Meet the Big Rock resident with a mission to rebuild his community.
And its location may be gone, but its legacy lives on. How you can still find remnants of an iconic restaurant in Malibu.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?
Southern California's heat wave has passed and the fog has rolled in.
Ansley, while it's still warmer than usual, at least it has cooled down a little bit.
Well, it feels like we skipped spring and went straight to summer here in Southern California. We've had a very hot March with above average temperatures for this time of year that lasted all of last week. Today, though, lots of clouds and fog gave us a little break from the sun. At First Point this morning, there were only 2 surfers out and hardly anyone on the beach. Very different from the beach this time last week. Looking at our surrounding areas, we saw a high of 70 with a low of 57 today in Santa Monica, with a little bit of rain as well. Thousand Oaks and Agora Hills both reached 82 degrees though, with a low of 53 in Thousand Oaks. Calabasas had a high of 81 degrees with a low of 52, and it was pleasant but cloudy today in Malibu, with a high of 75 degrees, dropping down to 55 degrees tonight. Overall, we are seeing less extreme temperatures than last week because of the clouds and fog, but still it is warmer than what we would typically experience here in March. Moving on to the fire risk in Malibu, it is at a low today, thankfully. And good news for the surfers of Malibu. The LA County Department lifted the bacteria warning from Surfrider Beach, but the waves were only 1 to 2 feet tall today and will be the same tomorrow, so it's still not the best surfing conditions. Let's take a look at our weekly forecast. Tomorrow it's going to be partly cloudy again, so the sun won't be as intense, but it will still be about 77 degrees with a low of 56. Thursday, those clouds are going to stick around with a high of 78, low of 59. Friday and Saturday will both be overcast as well with highs of 77 and then into the 80s just in time for the weekend. And as Alyssa mentioned earlier, there is some rain predicted for next Thursday, so plan accordingly. Allison, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Ainsley. It's good to hear that it's finally safe to go back into the waters. His house was the only one standing.
NewsWaves 32 reporter Emma Martinez talks to the Big Rock resident who found a new purpose after his home was spared in the Palisades fire. The life of the the founder and CEO of a Malibu house design firm turned upside down when the Palisades fire hit his neighborhood.
There have been few events in my life that I'd call maybe turning points. That was one of them.
Roy was born and raised in India, then came to America to study at Stanford. After graduation, he saw success in the medical tech industry.
The more we made, the more patients' lives got saved.
25 years later, he finds himself with a similar sense of urgency, but in a different field of work.
You know, the faster we move, the more we do, another family moves back in faster.
The Palisades fire did not just impact Roy at a professional level, but a personal one.
You're the only house standing on a street. Our neighborhood is devastated.
Roy lives in Big Rock, a place that became his community in every sense. He believes his home survived the flames for a reason.
I think our house is spared for me to help rebuild the community.
Roy helped form the Malibu Rebuild Task Force.
We would assess all of the data and start putting out information in a manner where people could act on it and not get overwhelmed.
And eventually he became the city's rebuild ambassador. Roy says after 4 months in the position, he did not see the movement he wanted or expected in terms of rebuilding in Malibu.
I didn't want to let my resident colleagues, my neighbors, down.
In late September, Roy made a statement to the city.
I'm resigning as the Rebuild Ambassador for the City of Malibu, effective immediately.
While his official position with Malibu has ended, this does not mean Roy has given up on the city he loves. His firm is currently working on over 20 homes in the Pacific Palisades and Malibu.
It's extremely fulfilling.
Another way Roy is aiding recovery is through his podcast, Rebuild and Chill.
Good to see you. Busy week, cold week.
Where Roy and his friends meet and talk all things rebuilding and all things Malibu.
It's another way to keep the community informed.
At the end of the day, Roy says there is nothing better than seeing a family come home.
All right, let's go home.
To be part of so many families' rebuild journey, I count that as an incredible blessing.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
In Altadena, Roy's design company broke ground for a family whose previous home burned down in the Eaton fire. Cassandra Sellers and her 85-year-old mother escaped from their family home of over 60 years. A home that was one of 3 black families in the area in the 60s.
This is the year.
The Sellers family encouraged those impacted by the fires to rebuild and remain faithful.
That's right.
It's a tremendous purpose. I just feel at some level fortunate that I'm able to help these families move back.
Roy says the Altadena home will be complete in about 8 months. And for Malibu, he says there have been some promising conversations with the city about trying out some non-traditional ways to rebuild. I'm just excited to see now that houses are starting to come, what's to come in the future.
Yeah, I know the process is long and complicated, but it is great to slowly but surely see some homes start that rebuilding process.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that, Emma. A family lost their beloved restaurant, but is finding new ways to keep it alive.
Where you can still find your favorite Moonshadows dishes in Malibu. And Malibu's new art exhibit featuring coastal canvases. A closer look at how a contemporary artist brings simple scenes to life.
Same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
The future of some Malibu businesses affected by the fire are still unknown.
How one family has carried on the memory of their Malibu restaurant.
On January 8th of last year, J.D. Slacker and his family's lives took an unexpected turn.
We always saw moon shadows as being above water, near water, you know, so protected from something like this. At no point that night was I afraid we would lose moon shadows.
Moon Shadows, standing since 1966, was one of many businesses lost in the Palisades fire.
Even in that first day, I felt like I knew I had a long road ahead of me to help inspire people that have been through a lot.
JD's family were not the only ones affected by Moon Shadow's destruction.
I think the immediate response was, let's help our staff.
Through fundraisers and interviews, they were able to raise money for those who lost their place of work.
In the end, it was almost $100,000.
JD and his family own 2 other restaurants that opened their doors to former employees after the Palisades fire. And just like Moon Shadows was known for its scenic ocean views, so is their location on Zuma Beach, the Sunset Restaurant.
You know, if they wanted to come to the Sunset or Ca del Sole, our other 2 restaurants, they could come there, of course.
The staff isn't the only thing that made moves. Popular menu items from Moon Shadows can now be spotted in the lineup at the Sunset Restaurant on Zuma Beach.
To see some of the most beloved dishes make it from Moon Shadows now to the Sunset, I think it's brought a lot of smiles to a lot of different people's faces.
While the future of Moon Shadows is still unknown, the Sunset Restaurant is keeping the memory alive.
And I feel like every time I've had the chance to come on and talk about that on any interview I've done, I consistently hear from people that are like, wait a second, I'm going to the Sunset today.
JD and his family have not given up on the idea of Moon Shadow's return, but the process is complicated.
As much as obviously I know the world wants to see Moon Shadows back again, we just don't know in this process what the future will hold.
They are not foreign to rebuilding.
We lost our home in the 2018 Woolsey fire.
As they continue to make forward progress each day, JD is taking away a valuable life lesson from these experiences.
Don't put stock in physical things, because physical things can be gone. Homes can be there one day and gone the next. Restaurants can be there one day, gone the next.
A new organic grocery option is coming to Malibu. Popular LA grocer Hank's Organic is making its Malibu debut this March after its long-awaited arrival on PCH. The 19,000 square foot supermarket will include organic groceries, a deli counter, and freshly made meals alongside a juice and coffee bar. NewsWaves talked to an online representative for Hank's and were told the estimated opening is to be sometime in April and to look out for more announcements via the Hank's Organic official Instagram.
While Hanks isn't open just yet, a new art exhibit just landed in Malibu.
Kaya is here with an inside look into a local artist known for her contemporary works. Kaya?
Thanks, Melissa. All of the recent sunny weather here in Malibu has reminded me just how beautiful our city is. Gay Summer Rick, a Malibu-based contemporary painter, specializes in drawing the coastal landscape that residents love. She has a new exhibit on display here in Malibu through May 1st. You can catch her work every day between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Her paintings primarily feature Malibu, but are also inspired by other coastal cities in California. She uses a unique blend of colors to create abstract impressionism that sticks with viewers. Rick aims to show the beauty in nature, taking simple scenes and painting them using palette knives to appear dreamlike. No RSVP is required and attendance is free of cost. And if you have no plans for next Tuesday, you should make your way to Firestone Fieldhouse for a special event featuring In-N-Out's owner. Lindsay Snyder Ellingson, the president and owner of In-N-Out Burger, is speaking next week here at Pepperdine. Snyder Ellingson will reflect on her leadership and faith journey after taking over for her grandparents, who founded Southern California's iconic burger restaurant. As the founder of Christian faith organization Army of Love and the overseer of all of In-N-Out's philanthropic events, she will also discuss the importance of giving back. If you go see Snyder Ellingson on campus, you'll be treated to free In-N-Out meal. Admission is free, but registration is required. It's really just so exciting to see a female owner come talk about how to run a business, especially with all of her involvement in their philanthropic events.
Yeah, and it's such a good opportunity for Pepperdine, and of course, I know we're all In-N-Out fans.
Big In-N-Out fan. So, yeah. Thank you so much for that reporting, Kaya. Waves baseball season is in full swing, and Tippy joins us for a preview of how the Waves did at home.
That's right, Jenna. The Waves played Washington at home today in a game that was far from their best showing. I'll be back with a live update on the matchup.
And while you can't get too close in person, you can with this new video. The recent footage of a close encounter with a furry friend.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?
Pepperdine women's basketball continues to make history.
Addison is here with a look at women's basketball WNIT tournament run. Addison, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Melissa. The Waves are rolling. With women's basketball's win against Southern Utah on Sunday, they progressed to the next round of the Women's National Invitational Tournament. With a path to the championship in sight, here's what the next round will look like for the Waves. First, Pepperdine needs to take care of South Dakota in the Sweet 16 on Thursday. This is not the first time these teams have met this season. Back in December, the Waves got the best of the Coyotes, defeating them 73-65. Next, the Waves would face the winner of Montana State versus Portland in the Elite Eight. The game on Thursday will be held in Vermillion, South Dakota at 5 p.m., streaming on ESPN+. And Tippy is live at the baseball field with a look at what went wrong against Washington today and what's next for the Waves. Tippy?
Thanks, Addison. Pepperdine men's baseball just took a tough loss 11-2 against Washington Huskies this afternoon at Eddie D. Field Stadium. The Waves were held scoreless until the bottom of the 7th inning when Trey Dunn put Pepperdine on the board, scoring off a double from Aiden Camberg. Then Joe Cardendale brought Camberg home, making the score 5-2. Despite picking up momentum, the game had already slipped away from the Waves. Even though this ended in a loss, there was still so much to celebrate. Today marked the Veterans and Military Appreciation Game, where several veterans attended, including 3 current Pepperdine students. There was a ceremonial first pitch following, with the Waves and Huskies joining in the stands to welcome and show appreciation to all who have served. Those who were not able to attend today's game can catch the excitement at the next game. This Friday, the Waves open conference play at home against San Diego in a 3-game series. Reporting from Eddie D. Field Stadium, I'm Tippy Lane, NewsWaves 32.
Thanks, Tippy. Let's hope they can bounce back this weekend and get some games in the win column. And actually, our very own entertainment reporter, Kaya, was singing the national anthem at the game today. How exciting.
Yes, I always see Kaya doing the national anthem. She does such a great job. And I'm also really excited to hear that the women's team is going to be facing a lot of familiar opponents, because I know if they do beat this team this week, South Dakota, you said, Portland is next, potentially, Portland's in our conference. So could be good looks for the Waves.
Well, thank you so much, Addison.
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll never be this up close with the mountain lion. The Center for Biological Diversity released footage of an up-close encounter with the mountain lion. The mountain lion stopped to sniff a trail camera in the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreational Area. The organization works to protect these animals in California, and fortunately, some populations of these wildcats have already been granted protections under the California Endangered Species Act. And personally, my closest encounter with a mountain lion was in elementary school when our school got evacuated because there was one in our parking lot, and that is as close as I want to get to one.
I have the most insanely irrational fear of mountain lions ever since moving here. Freshman year, they sent us out this email all about how to fight back in case you encountered one. So every day when I'd walk to practice at 6 a.m., I would call my mom and make her walk with me because I was so scared. Oh, no. That'll do it for us this evening. This is our last Tuesday newscast for the spring.
Join us on April 14th for a special show looking at how surfing shapes Malibu. Have a great night.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Got a quarter?